grandchildren today. It's hard to imagine our feisty, fun-loving, and outgoing grandma as a timid first grader, but it's true. Grandma attended Cheerful Hill, a one-room schoolhouse that had no electricity and was heated by a wood-burning stove. And the one class was led by an 18-year-old teacher. Due to her shyness, she refused the teacher's instruction to read in front of the class. So he would stand by her desk while she read from her desk. But after a few months of this special exception, he insisted that she now move to the front of the classroom, which she continued to refuse by clinging to her desk while he pulled her towards the front, screaming, "Mommy, Daddy, help me!" In the 70s and 80s, the whole family would congregate at Grandma's house off Dozier. The adults would play round after round of spades at the kitchen table while the grandkids played in the basement. We grandkids played nonstop for hours, turning on the black light, dancing and singing on the pool table, pledging the floor and skating around the basement in our socks, playing Dukes of Hazzard, board games, and more. There'd be an outburst of laughter and loud voices upstairs. Curious, we'd interrupt our play and yell up, "What happened?" And they'd yell down, "Such and such went set." As if we understood the game and that explained it all, we'd resume our play. Those gatherings were loud, they were chaotic, and they were so much fun. As Angie said, Grandma made my childhood a childhood worth living. Grandma believed in family and went all out on holidays, Easter, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, and especially Christmas. She always had a real cedar tree with that bird noisemaker that annoyed so many of us. The light-up Santa that faded over decades to more closely resemble a snowman. Christmas was the highlight of Grandma's years in my association house. On Friday, June 7th, one of my grandmother's last good days, my sister Patty visited Grandma from Chicago. And Grandma blindsided her with the quintessential Grandma question: "Are you ready for Christmas?" Patty was put on her heels and embarrassed to admit that she indeed was unprepared for Christmas with only 6 months left. 2 or 3 years ago, my dad, Danny, and I were visiting with Grandma at her house and reminiscing about some of those good old days. Someone mentioned the time that she and my dad were spades partners. She sat up in her recliner and regaled how Chuck had played his part poorly before casually and pitifully excusing himself with, It was a risk I had to take." She was fired up and all over again, and doing something she referred to as carrying on. She simmered down and backed into her recliner, laughing at herself and forgiving him, essentially letting go of that 4-decade grudge. She was an engaging conversationalist, smiling and laughing easily and often, keeping the energy high with sprinkles of "Well," and "You've got to be kidding me" here and there. As Loretta and Dennis say, she always had a smile on her face and liked to have a good time. That smile came with a hearty, contagious laugh that sometimes turned a corner into a cackle. Over the years, Grandma repeated a few words of sage advice that I'd like to pass on to you. When you come home, don't sit down. If you sit down, you won't get anything done. You've got to keep moving, and moving she did. She had drive and determination that kept her productively active longer than most. Retiring at 85 and continuing to mow her lawn as recently as a year ago. I'm challenged to give adequate justice to the impact and influence our family's matriarch has had on me personally and our family as a whole. And like Danny, to account for the full richness of her 95.5 years. Although I've known her for all of my life, I only knew her for half of her. I've learned that certain traits were lifelong. She was hardworking, salt of the earth, and fun-loving. She had a great love of family, the outdoors, gardening, bluegrass, holidays, and her Ozark home. These lasting attributes aside, I also recognize that there were fundamental and complex differences in the woman I knew in the second half of her life, which I like to call her golden grandma years, and the woman she was in the first half of her life. Reflecting more on this difference, Grandma has modeled more life lessons for me. Try again. Be positive and forward-looking. Don't dwell on your mistakes. And that with the right mindset, there is no reason why the second half of your life can't be the best of your life. Now, not to put any of you on the spot, but I'll leave this with this question. Are you ready for Christmas? Rest in peace, dear grandmother, mother, sister, sister-in-law, aunt. We'll see you in heaven.
Oh.
Thank you, Chrissie.
What
Yes, I need that page.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Here. What is here?
She is
Yeah, without
a
pin.
heroic woman for sure. After being in the hospital for about a week following her stroke, Wilma Mings died quietly in her sleep in the early hours of Wednesday. I have a couple of scriptures that I want to offer to you as